Static on the Line by Aizawa's main hall. The on-air light glowed a familiar welcoming red hue, humming faintly above the glass window that separated the booth from the soundboard room. Hisashi Yamada, also known to Japan as Present Mike, leaned into his mic with a grin so wide that it nearly split his face in half. "Yeah, listeners!" he crowed, voice booming like usual, golden hair bouncing in its messy bun as he bobbed his head to the background beat, and glasses stuck in place on the bridge of his nose. "This is your friendly voice in the storm. The one and only Present Mike, coming at ya, live on Put Your Hands Up, where the vibes are fresh and the music's hotter than Endeavor's ego, which is very hot, may I add. And your voices are always heard loud and clear." Laughter filtered in through the headphones from the two people in the sound room. Maya, sharp and competent, at 22 with her cat-eye glasses and perfectly ironed meme shirts, gave him a thumbs up while monitoring the sound levels. Beside her, Yukino, their newest intern, and a jittery 17-year-old who practically worshipped the ground Hisashi walked on, hovered like a baby hummingbird around the console, eyes darting back and forth between the blinking lights and the calling cues as if making sure he didn't miss a single possible flickering light. Hisashi sipped from his thermos, filled with his fifth coffee of the evening, although he would never admit that. The smell of roasted beans and faint vinyl clung to the air like a warm incense. "Tonight's a very special night," he declared. Voice still cheerful, but toned down just enough to sound more personal, more human. "We're doing a live call-in. That's right, 5 minutes for each of you fabulous folks to say whatever is on your mind. Tell me, what's making you smile? Tell me your heartaches. The show's for you. So let's put your hands up and your hearts out, yeah?" He flicked the switch and fixed his microphone before grinning wide and bright. "Alright, Maya, who we got first?" A beat passed. She adjusted her mic and glanced at Yukino, who held up 3 fingers. "Line 3, guy named Keiji. Wants to complain about the backed up traffic in Kamino." "Ooh, classic," Hisashi chuckled. "Alright, Keiji, you're on the air with Present Mike." The show carried on, with caller after caller. Someone sang a song they wrote about their cat. A teenager confessed he was scared about his upcoming graduation. A woman announced her engagement, and Hisashi whooped so loud it blew out the limiter. Yukino flinched, Maya sighed amused. Someone even called just to say how much his show meant to them. He didn't cry. He didn't. But then, something changed after a few more calls. Call 27. Yukino stared at the monitor, brows furrowed tightly. He adjusted his headset, muttering, "Boss, there's a weird call on line 5. The number is really old, like landline old, and there is static, lots of it." Hisashi raised a curious eyebrow. "Did you screen it?" I tried, but it was quiet. And then there was this little voice, I think a kid, maybe? It didn't really make sense, though. It was like he was whispering. I could barely hear him." Maya leaned in, suddenly more serious. "It could be a prank call, but I'm not so sure." The voice seemed scared. "Could be," Hisashi muttered. But something crawled up his spine. Not fear, not yet, but instinct. "Put him through," he said. Static. Quiet, and then piercing. Sharp, thin, like glass under nails. Then, out of nowhere, "Hello?" It was a voice barely able to be called a whisper. A voice so small, so timid, it nearly disappeared in the background buzz of electricity. Hisashi leaned in slowly, frowning and creasing his eyebrows tight. "Hey there, kiddo," he said, gently now, no theatrics. "You're live on the air with present Mike. Is everything okay, listener?" Silence, then another quiet whisper. "Please, don't hang up." Yukino looked up, frozen. Maya practically stopped breathing. "I won't," Hisashi said instantly. Voice as soft as rain, pitter-pattering on glass. "I promise. What's your name, little listener?" Another pause, but this one felt even heavier as the static grew louder, and a small distant part of Hisashi wanted to get the horrible sound away from his ears, but he couldn't. This kid needed him to stay, so he will. Then the sound of a wet sniffle, then a small stifled sob. I think I'm not supposed to tell anyone." His stomach sank for a reason he didn't quite yet understand fully. "That's all right," Hisashi said. "You don't have to if you don't want to. Just talk to me, okay? I'm listening to you." There was something in the quiet between them. Not quite dead air. This was also slightly different. It was the kind of silence that carried a heavy weight, like it was trying to smother the boy on the other end. I found the phone," the child whispered. Mama didn't know it was down here. It's old. She said it didn't work anymore." A chattering sound echoed distantly. Wood? Chains? I hear your voice on the radio. It's so small, the voice. But it was there, and I thought it sounded nice. It made my tummy warm and fuzzy." "Oh, buddy." Hisashi swallowed. His hands trembled just slightly over the soundboard, but he kept his voice even, gentle. "Where's here? Can you tell me where you are?" I don't know," the boy hiccuped. "The basement. It's dark. It smells bad. There's mold and old boxes and I've been down here for so long. I'm hungry. I'm so hungry." Followed by another more broken-sounding hiccup. Maya mouthed urgently, traced the call, and Yukino scrambled into action, not wasting a single second. "Okay, little listener," Hisashi murmured, heart breaking into pieces in real time. "I'm gonna keep talking to you, alright? Just stay on the line with me for a little longer, okay? We'll figure this out. You're doing so good." There was a faint clicking sound of Yukino trying to triangulate the number quickly, but correctly. "I think it's Kamino Ward," he whispered. "An old landline registry. Like one of those prepaid phone lines. It seems to be residential." The boy's breathing had grown shaky. Panic was setting in the boy's voice, making Hisashi's heart break even more. Mama, she says I'm the reason he left," he said, voice cracking like old paint. "Daddy left, and she says it's all my fault. That the quirk is wrong, and I took him away from her. But I didn't want to, I swear." Hisashi's mouth went dry. "Is your quirk hurting you, little listener?" "I don't have one," the boy whispered, as if it was a sacred secret. "The doctor said I might never get one. She said that not having a quirk makes me a mistake. That if I had one, Daddy would have never left us. Left her." A silence fell, suffocating in its weight, so much that the static seemed to even go quiet, like the line was holding its breath with the young boy. Then his quiet whisper came back. "She doesn't feed anymore. Not unless someone else comes over. She hurt my ears. said I didn't deserve to hear happiness. But I liked your voice. I like listening to people. I like people's laughs. I like the sound of humming too, but I can't hear it anymore. Hisashi pressed a trembling hand to his mouth as his eyes watered behind his glasses. Maya stood up, hands balled at her sides. We need to call the commission immediately. No, Hisashi said. Call Shota. Eraserhead? Yukino blinked. But he's not a rescue hero. You're right, but he's a pro underground hero. And he owes me one. He's also only 10 blocks from Kamino, Hisashi said, voice trembling with steel. He'll move faster than the police, and this kid might not have time. Maya bit her lip before nodding and making the call. Back in the booth, Hisashi leaned ever so slightly closer to the mic. You're doing so good, kiddo, he said. Can you tell me something else? Anything? What's your favorite thing to listen to? There was a pause. Then, people, talking, laughing, anything. It makes the dark not feel so loud. Tears pricked in Hisashi's eyes. How old are you, little listener? I'm 6. Another small beat. My name's Izuku, the child said softly. I wanted someone to hear me. Just once. Izuku, Hisashi echoed, barely breathing. I hear you. I'll always hear you, Izuku. And help is coming, I promise you. The sound of creaking footsteps filtered through the line. Izuku gasped. She's coming, he hissed. She's drunk again. She'll be mad. Hide the phone, Hisashi said quickly. Hide it, okay? And keep listening to me. I'm right here. A loud clatter and loud yelling before the static spiked. Hisashi honestly thought the line had cut until he heard it. The faint muffled sobs of a child trying not to cry. Minutes passed like years, and suddenly another voice on the call. Low, gritty. Mike. Hisashi sagged forward, nearly collapsing in relief. Shota, you found him. There was shuffling. A door creaked, then a hissed curse. Basement was locked. Old latch. I cut through though. Kid, it's shit. A loud sound echoed from the other end. A crash. And then sobbing. Unfiltered. Cracked wide open. Heartbreaking sobbing. It was the sound of a child breaking apart the moment they're safe enough to. I got him, Shota said with a gruff sigh. He's so tiny, severely underweight, and he's got bruises everywhere. His ears, Hisashi, they're covered in dried blood. We'll need to get him to recovery goal immediately, Hisashi choked on his words as he finally leaned back in his chair with relief curling in his veins. Does he still have the phone? Shuffling followed by quiet, here kid. And then the softest, Mike? I'm here, Hisashi said. Tears slipping freely now. I'm right here, Izuku. You hurt me. I did, he whispered, loud and clear. Always. It made headlines, of course. 6-year-old Midoriya Izuku was rescued from an abusive home thanks to a pro-hero radio show. President Mike refused interviews, so did Eraserhead. Neither would even walk in the spotlight of a rescue. Izuku didn't deserve that. He deserved to be known as a survivor, but he didn't need his heroes to just parade his rescue for fame or hype. And his heroes wouldn't allow it either. But weeks later, when Hisashi finally sat in the sound booth again, only this time with a tiny body curled in his lap, wrapped in an overwashed and oversized put-your-hands-up radio hoodie, and big green eyes staring at the blinking lights of the console like they were the most magical thing to have ever existed. Izuku, Hisashi said, brushing the boy's hair back from his eyes carefully. "This is Yukino and Maya. They helped me find you, you know." Izuku looked up slowly and shyly. Yukino offered him a bag of sour gummies with a big, warm smile. Maya smiled gently and held out a plushie of a microphone that looked quite miraculously like Hisashi's own. "Hi," Izuku whispered as he held the items tightly. "Thank you." Yukino grinned. "Welcome to the station, little Izuku." And Hisashi thought, not for the first time, that maybe the loudest thing he'll ever say wouldn't need to be shouted aloud. Sometimes just a small whisper could save a life. And sometimes you just had to listen for those few minutes. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much to the author for letting me podfic this. There is a link in the description. Go show them some love. And have a nice rest of your day.